The networking magazine, proud to be different. Welcome to this edition of Jibber Jabber. Today's guest is a multi-talented music artist, influencer, videographer, writer, and producer. Yes, that was a bit of a mouthful. A warm welcome to the artist known as Mezurashii. So thank you
Hey,
so much for joining me today.
hey, Sanj, what's up? Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been a long time coming. It's been over a year, I think, since we had the editorial done for you.
Yeah, it's been a while, but a lot of stuff has happened, man. A lot. I'm
And
so
that's why
excited to
we're
chat
here.
to you.
Yeah, that's why we're here. So I want to know everything. But let's start with your name for those people in the audience who don't know where the name Mezurashii came from. And I suppose, in a way, that's where it all began. Correct me if I'm wrong, but where did it come from? It's a fascinating name.
Oh, it came from a deep experience I had in 2014 on my birthday. I felt like my whole world came crashing down. And I thought, you know what? This is an opportunity for you to reinvent yourself. You need to stand up for what you believe in. You need to embrace your differences and, understand who you are and be free to do so as a being. And I wanted to find a word that encapsulated that. So I didn't want to be called different or strange. I thought, let me find a word that I can embrace and own. And Googled a few things. And I love Japanese culture and the way they live so orderly and
Yeah.
harmoniously. And I looked towards the Japanese culture and I found the word Mezurashi and it kicked off from there.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And am I right in saying it all started? I mean, the name found you, and that's how the whole sort of entry point to the music industry began. Or did music find you at an earlier stage? You just didn't know where the name was going to be, what the name was going to be, and how you were going to get started.
Well, music for me has been part of my life since I was a kid. I've seen the evidence, I've seen the photos where I've just jumped on a piano. So music has always been with me. But I know it's something that triggers me and makes me really happy. So when I embraced the name Mezurashi, I thought musically I can dare to be different, dare to try new things and just start a new chapter to my life.
Well, you've amassed a huge following on social media, and I see that every day. I mean, I thought I lived on social media, but oh my God, you have 90,000 followers on Facebook, nearly
Yeah.
2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and just under 30,000 Instagram followers. So, as an influencer, how do you find time to do everything?
Oh man, to be honest, you don't. I know it sounds weird, because I'm obviously doing stuff, but when you just make time when you can, like every second you get, you're thinking about it. I try and remind myself to post and just keep people updated, and it's just part of my life now. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to make it more consistent, but because I enjoy it, I just go for it and upload whenever I
Right.
can.
So for those newbies who are starting looking at you going, oh my God, she's got a blue tick here and a blue tick there and all these sort of social media sort of status badges, if you like, how hard is it to obtain that level on social media? Was it something you had to work towards? Was it something you were consciously doing? Or was it quite natural to you and you just let it flow?
It's a mixture of everything. You kind of have to let it flow, but at the same time work towards something. It's the best way to balance the pressure with the reality of life. So I started my page in 2014 as Mezurashi, and I'd just been doing what I enjoy day in, day out, growing the page. I got to about 48,000. I thought, let me just try and get this blue tick. Let me see if I'm
Wow.
recognized as an influencer. I got rejected a few times, and they'd give you a few tips on the things that you had to do. So I took those
Right.
lessons on board, went forward and applied, and one day it got verified. It was mad.
Okay. So, I mean, do people look at that as a social media badge and sort of contact you and say, "Hi, want to get started. I don't know how to do this," or is it just that once you've got that badge, you stop interacting. You're just giving out the vibe, and you don't sort of interact as much, or is it the opposite?
I would definitely say once you get the badge, your status on social media does elevate. For me, I'm still the same person, but I have to be honest. I recognize that if I leave comments in certain places, I am going to be more recognized than perhaps other people, because that also comes with its downfall. Sometimes I'm more susceptible to criticism and hatred because people
Right.
think, oh, look at you, you've got a blue tick, you're just showing off. So there's pros to it and there's cons, but if as long as you stay true to who you are, things don't affect you so badly. You just go with the flow and enjoy it.
Okay. And how and on the the social media platforms, Instagram, I know, is sort of is the one everyone talks about. How
Yeah.
important is Instagram to you? Is it the most important one out of all of them, or is it something that you sort of you hold a line and you balance them all out? I mean, it's quite hard to know which one. Even I today look at
Yeah.
these, and I live on social media. I find it hard to balance my time between them. I don't know which one is more important than the other. So for the newbie that's coming on board, listening to your words,
Mm.
which is more important and why?
It is a very difficult question because it's all down to your individual perception. For me, I started on Facebook, so it's easier for me to continue on Facebook. But I do recognize that Instagram is definitely a way forward. I think a lot of people are very visual these days, so to upload pictures and videos, it's going to catch the eye more
Hmm.
instantly. So it is definitely, I definitely say it's probably more important to the newer generation than Facebook. But I think in order for me to engage with my generation, perhaps the newer generation on Facebook, it's best for me to sort of stay true to there, build my engagement because I've known those people for a long time, and
Right.
then direct them to Instagram if that's where they're currently residing. So it's almost
Right.
like we all live on a platform these days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So it is
I
a
feel
different.
that. I
Yeah,
feel that. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, let's talk about your story, because I know one of the questions I'm dying to ask you is that I personally know that your father is a surgeon, a doctor.
yeah, yeah. He is.
I was wondering what it was like going back in time when you started you had those thoughts that, you know what, this is what I want to do. And being that your father's from such a professional background, what were his thoughts? Did he sort of shoot you down straight away and say, absolutely not, you know, you need to follow my footsteps, or coming from a professional background? Or did he sort of put his arms around you and welcome that sort of creativity from you?
To be honest, the shooting you down section was always my fear when it came to approaching my parents about going into music, because my mum's an anesthetic nurse as well, so they're both
Wow.
professionals. But the thing is, growing up, I think they recognized my love for music at a young age. They bought me a £1,500 piano. They paid for
Wow.
guitar lessons. My dad bought me a guitar just before lockdown. So growing up, they always pushed me to pursue music. But when it came to education, I did sort of say to my dad, look, I kind of want to do music. And back then social media wasn't as big as it is
No.
now, so the
No.
opportunities were far more limited. So if you wanted to go into a creative field, there weren't as many open doors. You had to be at the top of your game. So my dad just advised me, it'd be good for you to get a good qualification behind you, then
Mm.
you can maybe think about your music then. But he never put me off. If I said no, I want to do music, I believe he would have backed me, because he always did
Yeah.
back me with my music. But he pushed me to, he encouraged me to get an education in a field that I could probably sustain a future in if needed. And I studied law, and I may not use it now, but it's definitely helped me to understand things logically, because I think that's very important these days.
Yeah, and I think it shows commitment, dedication, and all those other qualities. You stuck with it, and you know, that's an important thing.
Yeah.
What about the family, the wider audience? I mean, was there some resistance there, or did they think, "Oh my God, she's going to be a star. This is amazing"?
Most of my family are in Ghana, so I don't get to engage with them as much as I'd love to. But I know music runs in the family with my especially on my mum's side. A lot of her cousins and uncles, they all played the piano, and it's her uncle's
Okay.
piano that was the first piano that I played at the age of 2 years old. So musically, we're a musical family anyway, so there's never going to be any resistance towards music at all.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, you've developed quite a brand. I mean, when you were starting out, obviously the traditional route was to get an agent who would find you, you know, this sort of gateway, open the doors to this wonderful road paved in gold. And but you've had to fight to do this on your own. There was no agent. There was no golden paved road. It was something you had to build yourself. Did you see that challenge as something that pushed you and drove you? Or did you think, well, let me just get this off the ground and then I'll find an agent?
I think that's definitely part of the journey. I think journey is so individual, because when I was younger, that was the only route, getting an agent, all that kind of stuff. But now, obviously, because of social media, you can put your stuff out there. And if there's so much talent, sometimes I'm just browsing, I'm like, oh my God, they're so amazing. There's
Yeah.
so much talent out there. So there is a big opportunity for us all to show off our talents and abilities. So I think these days, as long as you're good at what you do, you're confident and you're consistent, you don't necessarily need that agent. But obviously sometimes there comes a point in life when an agent can just help you with a workload, because
Yeah.
there is a lot to take on, but you've got to graft in yourself to begin with. I think if you look at it, would you want to hire someone, or would you want to employ someone that doesn't show that grit or that fire? Even
Yeah.
if they're not showing it, you need to feel it's there.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're putting it out there and you're working hard and people can see your potential, there's always an opportunity. You just got to keep going.
Amazing. What about this whole concept of these live events? I mean, I can see that, ABBA and sort of all these famous bands are going down the virtual side of things. I know that Tupac did a holographic, show, and it was sold out. Is the goal for you to represent yourself physically or virtually, being that you live online? It's a good question.
That's a brilliant question. I count myself lucky to have been born at a time when social media and the internet wasn't a big thing. And um, I think that teaches you to interact with people, because you didn't have a choice. You couldn't text or you couldn't video call someone. You had to meet them, and I really appreciate the feeling that you get when you meet people face to face and you can feel their energy. But at
Mhm.
the same time, we have to embrace that the world is changing. A lot of things are virtual and online. So I think I'm lucky enough to already have that basic ability to do things in person, but I've also learned to adapt to the online world. So I think in order to reach people who can't reach you, you have to be able to, engage with people
Mm.
online, but you still need to be able to engage with them physically, because you have to be who you are. Do you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't be a different person online than you are in person, because
Yeah.
that's difficult. That makes your life so much harder.
Do you open up a little bit more because it's online? You're more relaxed. You're in your own sort of environment. Do people see the real Mezurashii, or do they? I mean, do you put on a little bit of a front because you're more aware that, as you say, an influencer, you can't take a wrong turn. You're influencing someone. So, is there a sort of a mask that you wear, or are you yourself when you perform online?
100%. I'd have to say that. I think I've had experiences in life where I haven't enjoyed being myself, and I have gone through the extent of being a different person online, a completely different person to who I am. And I had to live with that for a while I was doing it, and I felt so trapped and caged. And that's when the Mezurashi thing came. I thought, you can't be a fake person online, because when you meet people,
Mm,
your brain's like, who am I? What do I do? You're trying to be the person that you're pretending to be, and it's not you. And ever since then, it just taught me that you should just be who you are. Just if you make a mistake, take responsibility for it, take accountability for it, learn
mm.
from it, and then you've really got nothing to worry about. We will make mistakes on our journey, but the thing is how we learn from it and how we react. So I'll always be myself online. It's the easiest way to be.
Amazing. If you can hear a bird in the background, it's because I'm in a loft. There's a bird that's circling me, and I don't know why, but never mind. It is live. Okay. And what about the future for your brand? I mean, you've talked. I get a sense that you would love to do a live performance somewhere. Is that where you're heading towards, or do you want to remain online, where you've got this kind of persona? You've lived on it so long, you don't know any different.
um, I things when you're online, you get to engage with people who you'd probably never meet in person, and I think that's an amazing experience. So I would love to continue doing stuff online. I'd love to continue doing stuff in person. I just want to enjoy the experience and hopefully give as many people the opportunity to engage with me, and hopefully I can learn from them.
Brilliant,
I
amazing.
apologise, the window cleaner just turned up as well. So.
That's right. I've got a bird and you've got a window cleaner. That's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Okay. And what about what I was going to ask you is about traveling. Is it necessary now to travel to do a concert or to do a live performance when the internet's there? I mean, will you be based? Do you see yourself as a London brand or an international brand? Because I see online there's so many people in the States crossing over, and the other way around because of the power of the internet. Do you see your brand crossing borders?
Definitely, I'm open to all opportunities. I think you never know when the next opportunity will come. You're always going to learn something from each experience, each destination. And I'd love to do stuff online, but I think meeting people in person and just having that real experience is something that we've got to stay connected with. I think it's so
Okay.
important.
Okay. And what about this? Back to the journey. If you could, and I think I asked you this question when we did the editorial together, but if you could take a time machine back and meet a younger version of yourself, probably at the point in time where you were just about to tell your father that you wanted to go into music, what sort of wise words would you give yourself, a younger version of yourself?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think a lot of the stuff I'm telling myself today, which is, live in the present moment, do the best that you can. Nothing's given. You have to work hard for your opportunities. Because, when you're younger, you're thinking, oh, when
Yeah.
I'm older, I'll be a pop star. When I'm older, I'll be a footballer.
Yeah.
And today it's a lot harder in a way because we're exposed to the end results. When we see these footballers, we don't get to see their journey. When we see these artists, we
Yeah.
don't see their journey either. It would be to just work hard because I think instant gratification is an issue now, and as long as you can learn that things don't come instantly without hard work, you can definitely progress. So I tell myself to just keep at it every day, try and improve with something, find what your passion is and just run with it.
Amazing, amazing. Well, look, that's about all the time we have. So I'm just so thankful that you took time out of your busy schedule to talk to me today, window cleaner included. Um,
Yeah.
so, um, but yeah, it'd be lovely to catch up with you again at some point and find out what's going on, because I know that you've lots of things in the pipeline. I've been following you live. What's your Instagram ID so people can start to follow you?
Awesome. My Instagram is number one, just the number one, Mezurashii. I'm assuming it'll be spelled up here on the podcast for
Yeah, yeah.
people.
Don't worry, I'll put that in the description.
Yeah. That was a tricky thing, the spelling, but I think if you're consistent
Yeah,
with it, it becomes something people are used
yeah,
to.
that's fine. Yeah. Okay, so I'll put that in the podcast description, and I'll highlight that with a link so you can follow Mezurashi and her progress.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and
Thanks for having me, Sanj.
I hopefully we'll catch up again soon.
Definitely.
Thanks again. All
Take
right,
care.
well, till
Bye.
next time. Bye for now.